Hi guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel. My name's Jared. Today we're going to be putting on some PLM X brace onto the EG Civic hatch. So this brace I've picked up on Marketplace probably 6 months ago now, and it's been sitting in my office, and now I've got a chance to finally install it that the car's back on the road. So pretty much this PLM X brace, it's called X brace just because of the design of the bars here. So it includes a lower and upper, 2 vertical bars, as well as the X brace, and they bolt onto the rear strut tower. And then you have this shackle here and on the other side, which will go where the seatbelt bolt is. So they bolt on top of here where your coilover or your strut goes on both sides, and then above the seatbelt. Currently I already have this skunk strut brace, which when I installed actually made quite a bit of difference and helped with the balance of the car, and I noticed quite a bit. People do mention that these make quite a bit of difference. One thing I want to be conscious of is weight, and all of these here are actually steel and not aluminium, which is going to add a lot of weight to the car, which is not what I'm after. So I'm kind of thinking whether I can not run this lower bar and continue using that strut brace I already have, because that's actually aluminium, and whether I need these vertical ones, because I don't really think there's going to be that much force, and whether I need that one as well because there's already this cross brace here. One thing to note with this install is there might be some cutting involved here, and we're definitely going to need to drill or cut a hole in here for the seat belt. What I might start with is actually bolting in the bottom first and just seeing how that's going to sit, and then probably after that we're going to have to drill the hole for the seat belt. Thought I was going to be able to put the whole thing in already assembled, but there's no way that's going to happen. So I think we're going to start with the lower brackets first. In there is hitting the front, so we're going to need to trim a little bit of this plastic out so it can sit in there properly. So that's what that notch looks like. You can see it's on the holes there. I might just remove a little bit more plastic because it's kind of just pushing on the edge now. But that's pretty much it. And then just going to repeat for the other side. So pretty much this front bracket needs to come out, and then you go about halfway along the front here. Just off camera I did drill and install this side just because I wanted to do a bit of trial and error before I showed you guys, but I think for reference that points a pretty good picture for when you're measuring the hole. I haven't fully done this up yet just because I'm not sure what orientation I need to turn that in for this X brace, because it looks like it sits back on a bit of an angle. Also, one thing to note, the Allen head bolt uses an Imperial 3/8 Allen, so if you only have metric that's going to be a problem because it's between 8 and 10. So what I did do is I looked in through that hole to see where the bolt was, and that's what that bolt looks like on the other side of the hole. I drilled one pilot hole over here and I thought I was on the edge of the bolt, so then I drilled another one further across. So first I'm just drilling a pilot hole to see where the bolt is behind the panel. Next I'm just using a flashlight to look inside the hole to see how far off I am. So now you can see the bolt hole there. I'm just going to go around and open up that hole a bit more so we can get access. I found that the speed file was quite good because you can kind of, with the rounded edge, you can get the hole quite nice, or you can use a regular hand file as well. You can use a piece like this on a drill or die grinder just to open that up a bit more. So that end goes through the seatbelt hole and then sandwiches into the body. You don't want to absolutely crank this down yet because you might need to rotate it to line the bar up later. So next we're going to throw the nuts on the lower mount. So you're going to have to start by installing one of the lower corners on this bracket. It is much easier when you're installing this that you make both of the lower brackets the same length either side, otherwise the X-brace will be on an angle. Later when you go to install the top bracket, it's going to lean more towards one side than the other. For me, this top left corner was the most difficult. So here I'm just winding out to make sure that the lengths line up with the bolt holes. So the right side was slightly easier to do. I kind of had to bend and push the bar a little bit to get the bolt started. And then once it was in halfway, then I was able to use an Allen key and start to screw it in while I put the washer onto the other side. The left side was the hardest and I actually needed Rita to help me install that one. For the back bar, there wasn't actually enough room to get the nut onto the bolt, and you can't feed the bolt through the top either, so I used the heat gun to heat up the plastic and the round end of the Allen to push it. Then I was able to get the bolt started from below. I would recommend cutting the bolt a little bit shorter. As you can see, it sticks out the top of the nut. Like you saw just before, I didn't end up including these two uprights and the bottom piece because I decided to keep the Skunk 2 bar, so I didn't really think I needed two of them. And this weighs 1.2 kilos, whereas that Skunk 2 one is about half that weight because it's aluminium. These two are 600 grams each, so by not putting them in, I've saved 1.2 here and 1.2 there, so 2.4 kilos. The X-brace weighs just under 3 kilos and the top bar weighs 1.2 kilos as well. So we've added around 3.5 kilos with that brace. So I don't really think I need to add any more weight. Alright, so the bar. So I've had it on the car for a week or so now. I've driven it a few times, and can I notice a difference with it? The short answer is not really. When I put the other bar on before, I felt like when I had the Skunk bar on, that made more of a difference to the balance, the turn-in and the handling of the car. Yeah, so what I did notice with the X-brace is, for example, when I was going on an angle through down the driveway or over a speed hump or something, there was less creaking in the back. Before, the interior plastic used to kind of creak. So I do think it has stiffened up the rear a bit, but it's not really a noticeable difference in performance. So would I recommend you buy the X-brace? That depends. So if you want it for the looks, then definitely it has those cool JDM vibes, but if you're looking at from a performance perspective, $350 to $600 for that brace, it's not going to give you any more performance than a $100, $150 strap brace that you could buy from eBay. If this video was informative or helpful for you, give it a thumbs up, put a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.